So what if you could actually engineer a perfect society? I mean, really build one from the ground up with no pain, no war, no misery. Well, today we're getting an exclusive look inside the world state, a civilization that claims they've cracked the code. Consider this your official induction into the system that manufactures perfect citizens for a perfect world. Everything, and I mean everything, in the world state is built on these three words. This is their motto, but it's so much more than a slogan you'd see on a poster. It's a promise, it's a command, and it's the ultimate goal that every single piece of technology, every social rule is designed to achieve. But come on, how do you actually achieve total stability? How do you engineer identity for an entire planet? Well, it all starts at the very beginning. So, welcome. Let's take a tour of the Central London Hatchery and Conditioning Centre. This is the factory where humanity itself gets made. Okay, so first, you gotta forget everything you know about birth. In this world, life's journey starts right here, in this kind of sterile, super efficient, almost creepily quiet laboratory. This squat gray building is literally the foundation of their entire society, a place of shiny glass and nickel, where the citizens of the future are decanted and conditioned for their roles in life. And our guide for this tour? Well, it's the man in charge himself, the director of Hatcheries and Conditioning. He's going to walk us through the whole meticulous scientific process of how they create life in this brave new world, starting right from the very first spark. Our first stop is the fertilizing room. You can think of it as the assembly line of life. In here, humanity doesn't start in a womb. Nope, it begins in these neat racks of numbered test tubes. It's all surgical precision, temperature controls, and chemical formulas. A complete rationalization of creation itself. Now, at the heart of this whole mass production system is a really key piece of technology, Bokeanovsky's process. Basically, they take a single egg, they shock it, they halt its development, and they force it to bud, creating dozens and dozens of identical embryos from just one source. From their point of view, it's a massive improvement on Mother Nature. And this number? 96. This is the real game changer. That's the potential output from a single egg, 96 identical humans. Just let that sink in for a second. With this, you can have entire factories staffed by identical twins, all working on identical machines. It's the principle of mass production finally applied to biology. But why? Why do this? The director gives us the answer right here. It's not just about being efficient. Creating standardized humans is one of the most important tools for social stability. See, when everyone is the same and perfectly designed for their job, you don't get any square pegs and round holes. No friction. Just smooth, stable society. And this process is what allows them to create this incredibly rigid 5-tiered caste system. At the very top, you have your alphas. They're the intellectuals, the leaders. Then you have the betas, gammas, and deltas below them, each with less intelligence and more manual labor roles. And way down at the bottom, you find the epsilons, who are bred for the absolute lowest tasks. And the wild part? Every single caste is decided before you're even born. So how do they enforce life? How do they make sure an alpha is an alpha and a delta is a delta? Well, this is where it gets pretty chilling. It's all biological engineering inside the bottle. As the embryos travel down this conveyor belt, the lower castes are deliberately starved of oxygen, which stunts their mental and physical growth. It's all to make sure they fit their social slot perfectly. And here it is. This is the ultimate goal of the hatchery. It's not just about making workers. It's about making happy workers. The entire pre-birth process is designed to make people love their inescapable destiny. That right there is the engineered secret to happiness. Okay, so creating the perfect body for the job isn't enough. That's only half the battle. You also have to condition the mind. Once the infants are decanted from their bottles, they're brought to the nurseries, and this is where their psychology gets programmed with the exact same precision as their biology. A classic example of this is what they call Neo-Pavlovian conditioning. Get this, they show a group of delta infants some beautiful flowers and colorful books. As the babies crawl towards them, all excited, these violent sirens and alarms start blaring. Then they get a mild electric shock through the floor. They repeat this 200 times until the babies just instinctively recoil in horror at the sight of a book or a flower. So why condition them to hate flowers? Seems kind of random, right? Well, it's not. It all comes down to economics. A love of nature is free. It doesn't keep the economy humming, so they get rid of it. But at the same time, they condition citizens to love complicated country sports that need all kinds of expensive equipment and transportation. It's all about keeping the wheels of industry turning. Now, the second tool they use for conditioning the mind is even more powerful and way more subtle. It's called hypnopedia, or sleep teaching. Turns out you can't learn science or history this way. The brain just rejects it. But you can learn morals. So every single night, for years, children listen to these whispered suggestions from the state, and those whispers become the very fabric of their adult minds. And here's a little taste of what one of those lessons sounds like. Imagine hearing this whispered in your ear, thousands upon thousands of times. It instills this deep automatic acceptance of the caste system. It's not something they have to think about, it's just an absolute, ingrained truth. They literally are their conditioning. As the director proudly puts it, Hypnopedia is their ultimate weapon. It makes sure that every single desire, every judgment, every choice a citizen makes isn't really their own. It's just a suggestion that was whispered to them by the state while they slept. It's the quiet engine that keeps society running smoothly. So we've seen the how of this world, but what about the why? I mean, why go to all this trouble? For that, we've got to go to the top. We're going to turn to Mustafa Mond. He's one of only 10 world controllers, and he gives us the philosophical justification for this whole system. His reasoning starts with this very blunt declaration. To build a stable new world, you have to completely destroy the old one. The past, with all its art, its gods, its intense passions, its suffering, it's all just a dangerous distraction. It has to be erased so that citizens can focus only on the here and now. So the world state basically got rid of all the messy, volatile stuff from the past. Things like family, monogamy, and strong emotions. Concepts like mother and father are actually considered dirty words. Instead, you have one simple, stabilizing rule that replaces all of it. Everyone belongs to everyone else. No messy attachments, no jealousy, no heartbreak. And this, right here, is the core logic. It's the final justification for everything. They've sacrificed it all. Family, love, art, even truth, for one ultimate prize: stability. Because as Mond argues, without individual stability, you can't have social stability. And without social stability, civilization just falls apart. And this is the result. This is the grand claim, and in a lot of ways, it's the truth of the world state. Through this cocktail of genetic engineering, psychological conditioning, and a freely available pleasure drug called Soma, the entire population is content. There's no suffering, no wanting things you can't have. Everybody really is happy. And that brings us to the final, unavoidable question. The world state has done it. They've achieved their goal. They created a perfect, stable, happy society. But in getting rid of all the pain, all the struggle, all the messiness of being human, what else did they erase along with it? What is the true price of perfect happiness?